Okay, greetings. Okay, 9/11 was the other day, and I guess we can say what happened in Hawaii was kind of like a 9/11 event with the laser beams and everything. The blue laser beams, or whatever you want to call it. So either way, I guess Biden's going to be impeached, which is good. How far they get with that's another story. Who knows if they can speed it up and not take like 5 years to do everything? That would be interesting. I mean, that'd be a nice exit if they kick him out of there. But I want to hold my breath on anything with those guys. It's like a snail pace reality that's going on there. We have the hurricane that's coming, but not to here. It's coming by us, or something like that. Either way, it looks like it's going to hit the Boston area or something like that, or it's going to affect New York area somehow. It's still too early to tell what's going to happen with that. There's another hurricane out there that's actually screwing around with it too, so that should be it's very unusual out there. So this is the book of Enoch, Nephilim, the giants. So it's happened to those energies. I don't think they're all Anunnaki. There might be some Anunnaki connected to that. Anunnaki gets way too much publicity. Just not everything is Anunnaki. Some need to go to therapy and have the Anunnaki released from their mindset. It just, I guess there's I don't know what it is. It's a big ego trip with those guys. They have a long ways to go. Yeah, there's one spiritual guru out there just obsessed with them. Whatever, putting spells on people and everything. Well, it's because you turn yourself into a deity. And you think we've come a long way. I think we're moving forward, and it doesn't always look that way. Now, when you see some of those manipulations that are going on right now. So the book of Enoch tap into the giants. Also going to, of course, the Nephilim are also part of the fallen angels. And I imagine many people here have had some run-in with a fallen angel at some point in time. Some with relationships, some are fallen angels themselves. Yeah, I guess that's where all the fun is. Some are obsessed with it. I don't know, whatever. It's just whatever. So yeah, we'll see where we get with that. And also Martian energies. Obviously we have a great deal of that. I think we have more Mars energy than we have Anunnaki, but like I say, somebody are obsessed with Anunnaki. Like really obsessed with it. So just kind of bring a different perspective. Let's put it that way. Not that it'll do any good. Not when those are obsessed with Anunnaki, you can bring in whatever you want. Nobody cares, but either way. At least certain individuals don't care. So yeah, the Book of Enoch, of course, is a controversial. Well, it's another version of things. Enoch turns into Metatron, and Metatron is manipulating our reality currently. So, yeah, it's kind of a touchy subject. Many love Metatron and all that. So, of course, I've seen a dark side of Metatron. I think I mentioned it yesterday, or the other day, or whenever it was. Yeah, there's definitely a darker side to him that I know some people might complain about Michael and Gabriel and whoever else, but Metatron's got, he takes the wood of it. I think he's worse than all of them. Obviously, there's a lighter side of Metatron, but there's also a massive dark side. Create our little paradise we have here, little mind control paradise. Yeah, so without going into details of that, kind of beat that one to death. Nobody cares anyway for bringing it up, so who cares? Whatever. Now the lessons are being learned. It doesn't look like it. Discernment definitely isn't working. So I'm talking economy price sessions. We have the scheduler. We have the shop here. Whatever. Yeah, webinar, social network, behind the scenes, whatever. Yeah, discernment definitely is not working with a lot of people. That's for. I mean, I guess they say it's working, but really isn't. But anyway, I'm tired of mentioning that. Okay, all right. We'll go into the giant energies and the fallen angels afterwards. And yeah, you'd be surprised how many people got connected with the fallen angels. They might be in denial of it, whatever it might be. The truth hurts. Oh, whatever. So, okay, all right. We're going to Book of Enoch energy. Oh, just going to the giants. I don't really tap on the Enoch's energy. It's too screwed up. It's like a narcissist. It's just completely out of control. And that's part of Metatron's energy. Guess who has the control over society? It's going pretty well. Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, more power to them on that one. Enjoy yeah, they're definitely going to get karma. I don't think they get carriers, but they get karma for that crap, but whatever. Okay, we'll go into the giant energies and see where we go from there. So, great blessings. Greetings. We have the giants. Yes, there's different type of giants. Some are obsessed just with the Nephilim, or that some are Anunnaki, not all Anunnaki. Well, there is a good connection there. There's well, it just showed a new world, and even many angels appeared as giant beings, which also goes to the fallen angel frequency. But the giant frequencies, yes, they're still here. There's so many different versions of giants here, but there are those that yes did eat people, and they were here. You can say it's a little bit much for people to remember. Well, because you're so focusing on the physical realms, the current realm, it can close out any type of spiritual connection from the past. But the giants were here physically at one time. The Earth's energy was so much different in the past also. They're just not part of the era for giants to reconnect. I mean, you can connect to them spiritually, yes, but as for physically, there's it's not the time for it yet. Similar to like your aliens. I mean, once giants start to appear on your world's never the same. Now you do have some people here that do have a giant syndrome or giant gene where they are just very large people. Some of them are in your sports leagues currently, but some of them can't turn off their giant connections. Not that well. Like they're like naturally a giant, so no matter what they do, they're just big. Maybe not as big as the Nephilim, but close enough for your modern society. And were giants taken out in your past? Yes. But also there was closure. That was the end of it. You're going into a new era. So giants didn't, but yes, the giants were throughout your history scattered. But it did not really fit in your modern era as you are in now. And similar to your to the Tartarian frequency, it's very similar to that. It's just that your modern era just has, yes, many agendas, a lot of control, obviously. But not to say giants are out of those woods either, because giants have, just because giants were here, there are so many agendas. So just a different agenda. A giant can just devour a city, always attack it pretty well. But then again, you see it coming. And just like a walking target. Now, if there's several of them together, it's different, but still, that helps. But being a giant isn't what it's cracked up to be, because you're always getting attacked. Well, especially if you're out plummeting cities. The idea is to take you out. So that's another reason why giant. I mean, even a nice giant that's not doing anything is seen as a villain because of all the ones that went after destroyed cities, and a lot of it has not been written in history either. It's just better to keep that hidden. It was just too traumatic. Many just did not want to remember it anymore. Just wanted to just forget the past and forget, we even existed. So, but it is another part of your reality, and to connect to it is basically just follow your feelings of it. Yes, you're part of a deep history of your world, a different world. Of course, your modern society is not about to accept it. It's going through, it's still trying to figure itself out. I mean, those whole spiritual directions, so many are closing their minds to it, and others just can't fathom it. They can't just fathom, they just can't imagine a giant race to be here physically. It's like their minds just cannot allow it. So it shows you how we disappeared. But yes, we are still here. We are connected to many of your caves. We're not ones that just appear physically, though. Some of you might have picked up on our frequencies, more of a fourth dimensional energy, yes. But as for physical energy, trust us, you would know if we're here physically. At least the word would get out. It's not like we're going to keep it as a big secret. And there are some giants underground, yes. Everything's underground, you could say. Of course, the aliens are multidimensional, but there is a good amount of them underground for various different reasons. They're not as worried of this world as some might think. The aliens just, they can see the future. Those that are untuned to it can see the future. It's versions of it. If they see a future timeline doesn't look good for you, they can heal it or at least investigate it, because they can't stop everything. Like when you had your 2020 incident, they might have saw it coming, and some might have tried to actually, stop it from happening, and they couldn't. Can't always do that. At least there are alien beings that can see the future pretty decently. At least, different future timelines. So it's just what you have to go through is what you have to go through. And also alien beings are blocked from certain timelines, so they can't interfere too much. So, but as for the giant frequencies that are here, you just connect to our frequencies, our blessings. Of course, not all giants are, there are more selfish giant beings that are here, of course. They became very human. But also very lonely because they were misunderstood, so they got angry. And this is a lot of anger. A lot of them just became sick of humans. And the Anunnaki had their own giants here themselves, and a lot of them did mind control over the people, but they still were vulnerable. But they're just an easy target once people realize what the agendas are. So, but at least that was easy to see. I mean, you see a giant and see it doing no good, and but society here, things are getting harder to see corruption. Very hard, apparently. So, what's this? Greetings. We have the Nephilim fallen angel frequency. But it's for those angels that wanted to live more in the physical realms, wanted the knowledge of the physical dimensions, even control the physical dimensions. And some of you have realized that. Why criminals can't get away, or why criminals get away with everything. But some of you have joined in on that. And don't forget that. You deny all you want. And those that are being extremely positive these days obviously have an extreme dark side too that don't want to reveal. And you wonder why, yes, the spiritual groups, some of them get so far. Well, they call it positivity, but also darkness a lot of times sees it as positivity. So it's a lot of times, yeah, they say it's positive, but it really isn't. It's like dark positivity. It's actually there to control reality, control the minds of humanity, take it over. And you'd be surprised how many spiritual groups are trying to do that currently. Take over religion and rule your world. So the word positivity, realize that's the dark side. He loves that word. And people here do not see it. They're just not. They're not realizing what they're walking into. Yes, a trap, basically. That's part of their journey. And do they figure it out? Usually, no. But fallen angel frequencies, some of them cannot release their vices, such as drug addiction or any type of negative type of addiction. But some of them have learned how to keep their posture going, like, yes, being a devil in the suit. And yes, many of you have met that. Well, they can keep their posture. Well, they have their angelic side, so they can look decent, but still corrupt. And it's to use the appearance to get away with anything. And yes, it's still going on today. Now, where some of these, the devil in the suit, when it's being revealed, turn into the creature, obviously it's going to deny it's anything of negativity. It's going to deny any corruption. It's going to do everything it can to stay in power. So it's going to has to take a group to get rid of it, basically. And once again, the power of appearance is why why corruption continues here. As long as the appearance is somewhat decent, even your politicians, they wear, yes, completely corrupt, but they usually dress pretty nice for they're on stage, they're on the spotlight's on them, so they have to look good as they steal from society. They're like energy thieves, like vampires. There are all kinds of whatever word you want to come up with. It's like, how long can they get away with it? And as your world is showing, they get away with it for quite some time. And society is not rejecting it at all. It hasn't quite figured it out, as you can see. Some of you have figured it out, most have not. And no matter how much you yell and scream about corruption, obviously it's a deaf ear out there. But so the fallen angels have brought knowledge also, yes, of manipulation. Well, they found the holes in your reality. You say the fallen angels play a big role in your Atlantis, the fall of Atlantis. Of course, there are others that are feeling that are controlling Atlantean knowledge. Of course, some of them are to a certain level, but it's not of a positivity though. So yes, once again, when some of these spiritual groups that tell everyone how positive they are and how they're helping humanity, and some of you are saying there's just something not right about this, you'd be correct. Yes, darkness once again loves the energy of looking like the savior, the hero, and it's hijacking society, and it just knows how to play the chords of reality. Yeah, it's like a puppet show. And society is just not seeing it, not enough to phase it out. It has not learned the lessons of the ancient times, as you can see. And the modern times, modern humanity feels like it, from what we see, it feels like it has learned a lot. It thinks it has. It has achieved advancement in its consciousness, when in truth, it is still under the spells of the past. As some of you know, that doesn't mean all of you are under those spells, but there's a majority that's still under it. Without going into all the details of that. So the battle is not over. Far from it. And yes, talk about 5D and your new Earth. It's just a way of sugarcoating the future and once again hijacking gullible people, which is working well. Well, because you're creating a fantasy world, and many fall for it until they stop falling for it. But many still like the idea of it. Well, those realities do exist. In some ways, they exist here to a certain level, but still, many are not seeing it. Greetings, this is the Martian frequency. The idea is to test worlds to push them to their brink, yes, of extinction. To extinct everything, basically, to push every society, civilization, rule, everything to its bitter end, to really test it until it doesn't want to be tested anymore. The idea is just to keep the pressure on. Mars and Saturn are similar. Saturn can be more vicious at times. Saturn does more psychological warfare on society. Mars does too to a certain level, but Mars is more physical, like your wars, or just beat each other to death. Yes, go fight somebody in a parking lot or shoplifting or whatever, a store. The more spectacle, the better. It's like if you're surprised I may fight in a store and just say, hey, wait, look at that. I'm a badass. Maybe not always see it that way, but it's just, and also like a corrupt policeman, things like that. Yes, I realize that's horrible for many of it, but for a corrupt policeman to get away with it is saying a lot. That's quite the achievement. Doesn't mean it's the best, but it's still, it just shows that. And society going against the police, defunding it, obviously a dark side would want that because there is still a good there somewhere. It does exist. There's still light there. Well, that's the angelic war. It's the light angels against the dark. And of course, the light angels, yes, don't always see the dark, so the dark hits the light with everything it has. Because the light just gets comfortable, gets happy, and does not realize the manipulation moves in very quickly, quietly. And that's what you're warning much of that here. So Martians do strengthen the soul. Basically, this is, depending on how I look at it, a Martian planet. Well, there's Martian influences, but also confusion. You don't remember your past. Not really. Your Earth past. It's all confused. That's the point. But yes, focusing on the now would probably be the best bet. I mean, yes, you can look at the past and feel what you feel from it, what past life that might speak to you clearly. You'd be surprised. There's a great deal out there that's not showing itself for obvious reasons. It can be overwhelming. That's why. And you're not always, you have what you need currently. But you can have too much. You can have too many tools. You can know too much and get nowhere. So sometimes it's better just to know. The less you know, the better. It's like what you have is, it's better than having too much knowledge. Many have too much knowledge. They don't really go anywhere. You keep shooting out knowledge, but they're not really accomplishing anything. They might show it off, and there's enough of that. But the Martians are, yes, the biggest egotistical creatures on the planet. You don't hear much about them. Obviously, they're not here to advertise themselves. Why would they? Martians against the Anunnaki. I mean, obviously, there are Martian and Anunnaki here. But yes, Anunnaki does come off as pretentious, but they know everything. Of course, the Martians feel the same way. But Anunnaki are still pretty fragile. That's probably part of why your bodies are so fragile. That's the Anunnaki side of it. And that's probably for a good thing. The Martian beings are usually, our bodies are, stronger, well intact. But you'd be more of a pain in that. I mean, some do have a strong body here, most don't. Not everybody needs to be built like a warrior. Of course, in the past, that was necessary. But now things are, because people want to live forever. And obviously, you don't need to. But there is some Martian elements here. There's also some Venus frequencies here to soften the energies. Venus beings are known for atomic wars, nuclear war. Of course, so is the Martians also. So the Martians and the Venus beings have one of the reasons why Mars is gone is because of the Venus beings and the Martian wars. So, I'll let you connect with that.